How did you get into acting? Was it something you did as a child, or how did you come to it?
I grew up in New York in the 50s, and there was 90 live shows, TV shows from New York every week, and they used a lot of kids, and I was one of them.
Mm-hmm. What kind of things did you do?
Well, in those days, it was very wholesome, particularly holidays. They just put kids around almost like furniture.
Mm-hmm.
We weren't actors, you know. We were lamps.
Mm-hmm. I guess that was probably great money for a kid, wasn't it?
No, they didn't pay you anything then.
Is that right?
No. But they had schools for those kids, and I grew up in the city.
Uh-huh. As a child doing that, was there pressure on you? Were you worried about it, or was it just a lark?
Well, not for me. I usually, if they gave me a line, I would forget it.
You would forget it?
I could. In those days, you would sing a little, dance a little, be able to do a line. I had a friend once who forgot his line, and he told me he was washed up.
How old was the kid?
He was 10.
10. Washed up at 10. But now for kids, that really doesn't exist here in the city, I guess. But what about the Broadway? You probably did stage production as well?
Yeah, stage too. There was a lot of stuff going on. And, you know, when videotape got invented, it kind of moved to California.
Right.
But before that, there were 90 live shows every week, and some of them were only 15 minutes long.
Right. Who are some of the people that you remember working on their shows?
I was on a lot of shows. Ernie Kovacs came from someplace right around here. Ed Sullivan was right here. I think Elvis got cut off at the waist right about here.
All happened here in the theater. That's right.
And Colgate Comedy Hour over at Rockefeller Center.
Do you remember who you worked with on that show?
It was when Dean Martin and Jerry Lewis were together.
Wow.
Wow. I was in a scene with Jerry Lewis, and somebody showed me a kinescope of it recently.
Do you remember what this, obviously you know what the scene was.
It was a scene at Penny Arcade. What was really interesting was that I looked and sounded, and everything about me was exactly the same. I haven't changed.
Really?
It was almost like I was there, you know, already 10 years.
How's your summer going?
Good. I'm going to go make a movie, and I've been doing this, you know, press junket. The terrible thing about press junket is there's so much free food.
Well.
And actors, you know, they're not allowed to say no to free food.
Right. Do you try, you know, so you're going to go work on a movie, but do you ever spend time off? Do you go out in the country? Do you travel? What are you doing summer?
I was born in Manhattan, and I was here every day for about 50 years. And then I had a chance to move out to the country.
Oh, that's
so,
a nice change.
So I did that.
Yeah.
I do like that.
What do you do in the country now?
Well, I was talking to your lady here about the pre...
Wait a minute, talking to my lady.
They do a pre-interview, and as I was speaking to her, my cat walked in with a mouse.
Really?
Do you have a cat?
No.
But they scream when they bring you something. They have a kind of scream of triumph.
Right.
So while I was talking to her, the cat screamed, and she said, "What's that?"
And it was the cat.
It was my cat.
Yeah. And the cat had brought in the mouse and dropped it.
Drop it
right
there, so that I can play with it.
Yeah. 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 Well, that's nice to share the fun, I think. Sure. All right. We'll be right back with Christopher Walken.
There's a movie festival there. I was about 2 weeks ago.
Oh, 2 weeks ago. What was it like? It sounds very romantic. Is it beautiful city?
It is. It's beautiful. It's kind of the same geography as Italy, but it's not as famous. And it's a beautiful place. There's movie festivals going on all over the world all the time. I had an idea for a movie of an actor who just does festivals.
Never really appears in films?
Never in a movie. You just go from festival to festival. And you could do that. You know, you could finish one. They give you a plane ticket. They give you a hotel, free food. You know, and you could. I think I could probably spend a long time just going to festivals.
Yeah, fabulous places, wonderful locations.
Some better than others.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. How did you like working with the folks on Wedding Crashers?
Great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Vince Vaughn.
You know, since there was
Need to get your cat in
no,
here.
there was a
I know
no,
we
there was
have
a fly
something
here,
flying
and
through.
it's
He's
been
been,
it's
you know,
been following me.
I know
since
he's
Los
been in
Angeles.
here for a couple of weeks. I've seen him. He was here last week as well.
Yeah,
Vince Vaughn and Owen Wilson.
Yes, and I confess, since never mind. But I live in the woods and I haven't seen it yet. They're
You
having
have
a
not
big.
seen the film yet.
They're having a big premiere in July. And,
Will you attend that?
and I will go there.
Yeah.
And I'll see it then.
Well, it's very funny, very entertaining. It's a great combination. Owen Wilson and Vince Vaughn and yourself. It's very strong.
And you could tell that they liked each other very much and that they had fun together, just seeing them on the set.
Yeah, they've
And
worked
usually
together.
that translates,
Yeah.
you know, well.
Yeah, it turned out nice. Let's show people a clip, all right? Yeah. By the way, how do you select movie scripts? How do you choose parts from all of the scripts that come to you?
I don't. I like to work.
You just like to work.
But this was a particularly good job.
Yeah.
You know, the director was wonderful, and Vince and Owen and all the other actors, and so this was obviously a good job.
Okay, let's take a look. Do you know the scene we're going to look at?
I think it's where I tell Vince that he should be careful with my daughter.
Careful with your daughter. And Vince Vaughn and Owen Wilson spend June, the month of June, crashing weddings and wedding receptions to meet girls.
Yep.
Yeah, that's the premise of the film. Take a look here. It opens July 15th.
All patched up?
I sure did, Daddy.
Sorry, bug. Go change for dinner.
Okay.
You know, she's not just another notch on the old belt.
Don't even wear a belt. Beltless.
I'm a very powerful man.
Yes, you are.
Yeah. There you go. Wedding Crashers.
You know, that scene reminds me, when I was in high school and I would go to pick up my date, the girl's father was always standing over there somewhere looking at me.
Right.
I thought of that.
Something you thought of there.
You know, the fear.
Yeah.
The fear of dad.
That's right. I think that's universal.
Yeah.
Don't you think? Yeah, absolutely. Well, listen, Christopher, have a great summer. Enjoy your next film. Thank you so much for being here. Wedding Crashers opens July 15th. Good to see you. Christopher Walken, ladies and gentlemen. We'll be right back with Michael Campbell, everybody.